So you've done it. You're a graphic designer. Now what? So maybe you just got out of college and you graduated with a graphic design degree, or you've been in the industry for a little while and you want to start your own business. So I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my story and some things that I think would really help benefit you guys as well, some things I wish I knew early on as a designer, and I hope that you guys get some kind of value out of this. So I graduated high school in 2012 and I went to college because that's obviously the next step, right? So I did that and I went for business administration. That's what my parents told me I should go for, and I thought, you know what, yeah, that sounds like it'd be good, right? You can get a job pretty much anywhere, good pay, yada yada. So fast forward, getting into college, I hated my first year, like absolutely hated it. I didn't think I was cut out for college. I did not like any of these analytical classes. I am just way more of a free spirit, I guess you could say. If I have to read something in a book, I figure it's already been done. What am I going to learn or create from this? And I just remember I had to take one class that fit a humanities credit, and the class was art and ethics. And this was pretty much like the last class that I'm going to be taking for that year. I didn't really know what it was about. It sounded interesting, and I've always loved art, so I figured, hey, if I can kill two birds with one stone. So I got into that class and pretty much immediately I was like, these are my people. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I want to do something with art. I want to be involved in this, like 100%. And so I decided the year after that I would be going into graphic design and getting a graphic design degree. And honestly, I haven't looked back at that since, because that's definitely the route I was supposed to go. So my last year of college, I got a job working as a director of media and graphic design for a small technology company, and that was a ton of fun, but I was kind of just thrown into it right out of, well, not even out of college yet, just thrown into it, and making brochures, flyers, different social media posts, all of that kind of stuff. But I had no idea. I never took any business classes, any marketing classes. There was so much that I still needed to learn. Well, fast forward a year after that, I graduated college in 2016 in December, and I needed to go on the job hunt. So I already had a job, but unfortunately the position that I was at was no longer able to provide full-time hours, and being out of college and having to pay back student loans, I definitely needed to have a full-time position. So I searched everywhere. I went like different cities, different everything, kind of just put out like multiple applications, like over 30, 40 applications, right? And had a few interviews and whatnot, and I finally got a position. And so the position was actually in the town that my college was in as well, and it was a graphic design position for a national brand company that was headquartered in the town, and I absolutely loved it for a while. So it's not like there's anything necessarily wrong with the position that I was in, but as an in-house graphic designer, a lot of times you'll only be stuck doing one thing, which is just the graphic design. And there were also a couple other people with me, and so I never felt like I had the ability to express myself or to give input because there was someone ahead of me. And that was really frustrating for me because I always had these ideas or wanted to do new things, and I could never really try them. And I started learning about marketing and social media marketing and just business in general for 2 years, the 2 years that I was there, and I learned so much. I was putting in probably like 60 hours a week, like every single week, nonstop. I didn't care. Like, this was what I wanted to do. I wanted to learn more about marketing and design. And so I did all of that stuff, and I also started a side hustle of doing real estate photography, which actually was like fairly lucrative too. After that, I just started to feel stuck. I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. I couldn't move up because there was already someone in that position. I didn't feel like I had any control, and I wanted to start something of my own because I wanted to help multiple businesses. After learning all the stuff that I did learn, I realized I don't want to be stuck in this one position that does one thing. I like wearing multiple hats and being the person who's talking to the clients, and I like to be the person who's designing for them, who's talking to them about marketing. I always absolutely love that. And so last year I decided that I was going to quit that job. And so after I quit that job, I decided to move across the country and start my own business. So I wanted to tell you guys a few things that helped me before COVID hit anyways, and honestly these things are going to help you out now too. It's just I've taken a few steps back. But number one thing I want to tell you guys is to get an LLC. The reason I would suggest that is because you are now going to be known as a business entity and not just a freelancer. Every time I hear the word freelancer, I think about, you know, a few years ago when I started saying that, oh yeah, I'm a freelancer, I can do this and that, and people would be like, hey, can you make me a brochure or a postcard for like $5? And I was like, absolutely, because if you're going to pay me for my talent, this is going to be awesome. Well, fast forward and you realize $5 isn't going to pay your bills. $5 isn't going to count the 3 hours that it took you to do the postcard because they wanted several changes. And if you think about it, you should be able to charge like different rates depending on the value that you're providing, not just the hours it takes either. You know, you shouldn't just say, hey, you know, it took me 2 hours, yeah, let's do $10 an hour, $20. Another thing is to stop telling people that you are a freelancer, because once you do that, a lot of people seem to take advantage of you, thinking that, oh, you're just doing it on the side, you're not doing this seriously, this isn't your business. But the thing is, it is your business and you need to treat it as such, right? So start thinking of yourself more as a business owner and not just a freelancer. Definitely hold yourself to a high regard and make sure that you're being presentable and as professional as you possibly can, because you are the one that these people are coming to and you're trying to help them with their designs. And they're coming to you knowing that you're the expert, so you need to be the expert. So another thing that I suggest doing is, you know, really start talking about who you are, what you do, and you're doing it for, right? So for example, who am I? My name is Eleni Alman. I do graphic design work. I also want to start teaching people, but it's like, okay, this is what you do. Why do you do it? I do it because I have such a passion for graphic design and I want to make sure that other people can learn and understand and be educated and have all the things that I had and the things that I'm learning now, versus having to go and figure all of that stuff out by yourself, because it's very difficult to start out, especially if you don't have any business or marketing background or you've never been in any of that kind of atmosphere. It's definitely important. So when you want to find your target audience, like the biggest thing to do, I mean, obviously, who do I want as my audience? Who do I want as my client? What's my ideal client? Who am I going to get to come in and use my services? That's so difficult. So many people are like, oh yeah, well, you know, I mean, I can do brochures and billboards, all this business collateral, I can do video work, I can do that. There's so many things that a lot of designers can do. I would definitely suggest narrowing it down a little bit. You can still offer your other services, but maybe really emphasize certain things. So for me, I definitely want to emphasize like the branding, brand identity, all of that kind of stuff, because I love working with business owners and talking to them about how I can help them with their logos, their business collateral, and how that can all tie in with social media, all of that kind of stuff. And that stuff comes later. And so I like having that initial contact point. So another thing I would suggest is joining Facebook groups. And the reason being for this is obviously there's a ton of different Facebook groups, right? You have a lot of different things that you can go into, whether it's the graphic design, like education section of it, so you can join different groups trying to learn the newest trends of graphic design, what you can do, how you can do better at it. But you can also join groups saying like, hey, you know, I'm a designer, does anyone need any design help? I do want to warn you though, be careful, because I have been down this rabbit hole and I'm still going down this rabbit hole trying to get out of it. Is a lot of these places that I'm going on and groups that I'm joining, unfortunately there are so many people and so many designers that are on there that it's very difficult to even talk to somebody. And a lot of people are willing to do this stuff for $5, $10 an hour, and that's not sustainable for somebody who wants to run a business and do that stuff. So I would suggest don't waste your time on those kinds of groups. Definitely find ones that are a little more intimate and want you as an actual person and connection. So something else that I've definitely realized over the past few years is be unapologetic about your rates. Everyone's like, how do I price this? How much is this? Do some market research, you know, just like go find other designers and other like freelancers, other people that are doing the things that you want to do. try to find their rates and kind of base it on that, at least starting out. Because a lot of times starting out, you know, you want to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's great, but if you say you want, you know, $3 million for a logo, and this company is like, well, can I see your other work? And you don't have a lot to show them or have any, you know, you need to have some of that to back you up. So make sure that you're putting your rates based on how much value you're providing, and just kind of guess and test, right? You have to go from there, because there's not a one-size-fits-all for businesses, and especially for creatives, because we're all very, very unique in our own right. The last main point that I want to hit on is to educate yourself. So educate yourself on design. What are the new trends that are coming out? How can you use social media to up your own game? Just different marketing techniques, you know, like what is going on today that is working for other businesses that you can apply to your own. And then learning from others, you know, definitely learn from others. It's like I said before, you can go through all of this on your own and learn all of it, but when you start following people that kind of do the same thing as you, don't think of them as a threat, but think of them as people who are your mentors and people who are teaching you and helping you out along the way. So I know that was a lot that I just threw at you guys, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys had some more ideas and thoughts that you could use and utilize for your own businesses, especially if you're just starting out. You know, being a graphic designer can be difficult. You don't just wear that one graphic design hat. You're not just the person who sits behind the computer and creates cool things. You're an advocate for other people's businesses. You are obviously the designer. You're the marketing person. You're the person who does all your bookkeeping and finds your clients, and you do so much. And so being a graphic designer, if you want to do this for your profession, it's not for the faint of heart. You know, you can't just go through and think, yeah, I'm just going to get all these clients and everything's going to be just like rainbows and unicorns and I'm going to have like all this money. If you can do that, like honestly, go for it. I am so happy for you. That is awesome, but it's very, very difficult to do that. And so I just want people to know that it's not the easiest thing in the world, and you have to be passionate about it, because if you're not gonna stick with this. And make sure that you have that passion. You need to have something that drives you. And if graphic design is something that you wake up thinking about, if you go into a restaurant and you look at a menu and the waitress comes by, asks what you want, and you didn't even look at it because you're looking at the crappy typeface on it. You know, things like that. Like, you have to be fully immersed in the things that you do in order to do them well. And that's really what I believe. But also, being a graphic designer, obviously I just said it's not for the faint of heart, but that's not why we do these things. We don't do these things just to make all the money in the world or to be the best graphic designer. We do it because we love it and we're passionate about it. And if you can provide people value, that's all you need to do, right? I mean, you need to give people value. And the reason being is you want people to come back, you want people to tell other people about you, you want to have that rapport. Because anyone can have a website, anyone can have a portfolio, but not everyone has that portfolio and website that really gets to people, that gives you that connection that you really, really need to have. And so I hope some of this helped. I know I kind of went fast on it, but I get really excited when I talk about design and just kind of everything that's happened and is still going on today. So if you guys have any other questions or want some more suggestions, have anything else that you'd like to add, please add it below and let me know what you thought of this video and how I can make this better, because I definitely want to provide you guys value in order for me to continue on with these. So if you have anything, just let me know, and thanks for watching, guys.